Yo, what's going on, guys? Wyatt Gaming back again with some more The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And today what we're going to do is just some quick tips and tricks. Now, I know a lot of people, through the boost of the Netflix series, The Witcher, have decided to play the game. Or maybe even you've read the books and you've decided to play the game. A lot of people have jumped straight on to 3. So we're just going to go over a few quick tips that I wish I knew when I first started playing the game. And hopefully it helps you guys out. If it does, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. It really helps. Let's jump straight in, shall we? So first off, guys, there are two very important things that I want to go across, and they are meditation and saving. Now, this game is very ruthless. If you do not save, you will not be able to come back to where you died. As soon as you die, you have to reload from your last save. So just get into the habit of saving often, because it's really annoying exploring for 2 hours and then falling off a cliff or something just knocking you out. You've got to do it all again. So just keep that in mind, save often. And then meditation. Now, you can do this for 2 hours. You can do it for 23 hours, it's up to you. But what that does is refill your health and replenishes your potions and bombs if you've got the alcohol. So it's just very easy just to get your stuff back without having to do loads of searching and things like that. It makes things much simpler, and it's good just before a fight. So if you're new to the Witcher series and the Netflix series has brought you into the games and you're starting on the third one, that's perfectly fine, because it's pretty much a standalone game. You don't really need to play the others to understand it. It does help, but you know, you don't have to. There is this cool little glossary here for the characters. It tells you who they are, gives you just a background story of them. It's very overwhelming at first, you meet so many new characters, so it's good just to be able to go through this and learn who people are. So, your skill tree. If you've played RPG games before, you will pretty much get the gist of this fairly quickly. It's quite simple. But what you want to do is put your first points, I would say, into Gourmet, which will, eating food will increase your vitality for 20 minutes. So it's quite passive, but it will heal you over time, basically, which is really good. And it saves you a lot of food. So you haven't got to carry a lot around with you, and you can make more money by selling the stuff you don't need. And the secondary one I would recommend is Strongback. Increases your carry weight, which is very helpful if you are looting. And then, over by your mutagens, which is on your last tab, as you can see here, I have 3 red skills in there, and 1 red mutagen, which increases the attack power there by 20%. Now if I take that off, and just let's put that one in there, my attack power goes down to 15%. But the more reds you've got on there, the more you'll increase. Same with blue mutagens and green mutagens. So it's quite cool just to keep an eye on that, because it does give you a little bit of an added bonus, which really helps out, especially in combat. Make sure as well you look out for these places of power. Now on the map they just look like weird little stones. I'm stood over it so you can't see it. I'll show you one just down here. And that is the symbol for a place of power. And especially in the first few areas, it's good to get these, because the first time you activate it, it gives you a skill point. And it buffs the specific sign. So this one is, I can't tell off the top of my head, this one is Quen. So it just increases the intensity of the sign. So it just helps you out a little bit. Now you can go back to these every so often to increase the intensity, but you will not get the ability point. This is very important early on. Check these bad boys, the notice boards, and pick everything up. Just pick it up. It might not do anything, it might do something. The best ones to find are the golden ones, because they will give you either a witch's quest, there it is there, which will give you a contract so you can get paid, or an important location, which are these question marks. Now, early on, you definitely want to be going around searching all of these, and once you've searched it, it will go a grey-ish colour. So, like these ones here, these are done locations, so they've gone grey. It's good just to have a little wander around. There's more there that have just been done, and do all these early on, because it will really help you out, and you will get a lot more weapons, armour, coin, and XP. It just boosts you up a little bit. So, once you've entered an area with a question mark, or got within the vicinity of it, it will pop up and tell you what it is. Whereas in this case, this was a abandoned place and a monster nest. Now, once you've cleared them out, just have a little wander around with your Witcher sense on, and loot, 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 loot. That's all I can say. Is one of the best tips going. Is whatever you can pick up, pick it up. If there's no guards nearby and it ain't nailed down, have it. Because you can either sell it or dismantle it for crafting parts, which will help you so much, especially later on in the game, because once you've got all your money and you move on to the bigger towns, you're going to need better weapons, things like that. So it saves you having to wander around trying to get a load of cash before you actually, you know, have to buy anything or do any bits. If you get the money earlier on, it just helps you out quite a lot. Also, with looting areas, you will find blueprints, well, diagrams as they're called, which can give you armor, weapons, and even better, it can give you upgraded potions. So it's always good just to loot everywhere. Loot, 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 loot. Just keep it up, and if you don't want it, dismantle it, because you'll get some pretty decent stuff. And I go by pretty much having 10. If I've got 10 of something, then especially when it comes to the crafting and the alchemy parts, and if I've got 10 of them, I'll keep it and sell or dismantle anything above. When you are also wandering around in the world, you will come across bits for Roach, and that is your horse, if you don't know. Now, the first thing you can get, these are from Witcher contracts, are trophies. Now, 5% bonus experience from humans and non-humans. Now, you can get different types of trophies depending on what enemy you defeat. Now, this one's 5% from, humans and non-humans, but it changes depending on your enemy. I think griffins give you a little bit of an attack bonus. Another thing to make sure you're focusing on every vendor that you go to, keep an eye out for saddlebags, because if you're looting everything, you're going to start to fill up pretty quick. Now, your alchemy, crafting, food, things like that don't really weigh anything. It's just the weapons and armor that take the most up. But you can dismantle or sell them if you get full. So just bear that in mind. Saddlebags early on really help you out. And you can also win saddles in races. You can still buy them from merchants. Now, they will give your horse a lot more stamina. And horse blinders to stop Roach being scared, because he's a little bit of a little bitch. So it's very good to have them. It really helps you out. He won't kick you off the horse as you're running through a group of enemies. Now, if you're like me and you like a good game of Gwent, make sure you play as many people as you can. Often bartenders over at the taverns, vendors, blacksmiths, armourers, they're pretty much all willing to pay you. But I would recommend just anyone that you come across that will play you, play them. And you can earn yourself a nice little bit of coin from it. And I really enjoy the game. I think it's quite good. Another thing I'd recommend is any vendors that you come across, especially the smaller merchants, check their wares for the cards. Now, it'll tell you at the bottom in little green writing whether you own the card or not. So it's up to you whether you want to have multiple of the same card. It will also tell you what the card is. So that way you can make a decision whether you'd like to buy it or not. Another upside is, once you've won, you will gain yourself a new card from an opponent. You only gain it the first time beating them, though. You don't get it for any other time. After that, you can just earn money. But every time you win, oh, you penis. Normally, the card they give you, though, is a special card, and it's normally quite good. So that really does help, because I find it quite difficult to find decent cards out in the open world. So I like to play for them, and it just increases your deck, and then you win. And some people you can bet a lot of money against. So it really does help. Another very good thing to check out, and that is the bestiary. So before you come into combat, if you check this, it tells you what enemies are vulnerable against. So these guys are Beast Oil and Signs Quen. Cursed ones there's all different ones. Moondust Bomb, Devil's Puffball Bomb, Cursed Oil, and Igni. So there's different things you can check out there. It just gives you a little bit of an edge during fights, keeps you alive for a little bit longer. Keep an eye on your weapon and armor conditions. You can do that in your inventory and just go across and hover over the item you want to look at. As you can see there, it is the little red number in the middle at the bottom, and that is at 60%. That is at 56. And your armor is the same. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on these before you go into battles. It really helps. And you can repair your weapons and armor just over here with either a armorer's repair kit. You can get higher variants of them, or you can even find weapon repair kits. Now I tend to save these for when I'm in a fight, so it's very good just to go speak to a vendor and he will heal them up for you. It will cost you a little bit. One thing you want to look out for here is the grindstone and the armorer's bench. Now what you need to do is use these bad boys, and these will give you a 20% buff for 15 minutes on your weapons, which really helps you out during a fight. Keeps your weapons nice and sharp, and it's just much easier. You don't have to waste as much of your oils and things like that. But even if you do use the oils, it still gives you a really great edge. A great sign that you can use is Quen. Now this is basically a shield which will save you from one hit by an enemy. It doesn't matter what the attack power is. And once you've been hit, it knocks off. Now it's quite good to use, especially against the harder enemies, because it just saves your life a lot. And also going back to food, it saves you food, a lot of it. And because I've got my bonus on there, that worked out really well. And once you have killed the enemy as well, it will add a new entry into your bestiary, which is really good. So if you've not faced the enemy before, there's not really much point trying to search through the bestiary for it, because it won't be there. Make sure as well you're actually using these rune stones or your glyphs, because these will really help you out. It gives you a bit of an extra edge as well during combat, and sometimes just extra XP, which in this game is really good to have, because you don't really get much unless you're doing main quests. So it's definitely worthwhile just looking through and seeing what you can pick up from these guys. Or if you have an item like this with 3 slots, then you can attach 3 runestones to it, which is great, especially if you've got the attack power and things like that. And if you've got more than one of these, I'd just recommend selling it, because as far as I'm aware they don't stack unless you put it on different items, obviously. Well, that's it for today, guys. So thanks for watching, I hope it helped. If it did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back again soon with some more Witcher. Peace!